Greetings, salutations. Let me forewarn you right fast. If you are a person that hates the word Marvin Johnson or hates this situation, might not be the episode for you. So today it's called The Advocate. I will tell y'all up front, I'm with a lot of y'all with the whole presidential search. But at the end of the day, I'm for A&M. So it's called The Advocate. We're going to try to share some ideas. We'll talk about sports on Sunday, but we're going to give y'all some, as EA likes to say, some good trouble. Y'all know me. I don't mind starting stuff, but I do like to finish it too. Let's get some ideas because we got to push FAMU forward. Because y'all already know what it is and what it's always going to be. And mine is straight. Look. Y'all saw it. These. Never mind. I almost started too early.
Yeah, baby, you know what time it is. Now let's get it started.
Are you kidding me? Unreal!
While our HBCUs are mostly known for academic rigor, community, they also know how to turn up.
Does he have it? Yes, he does!
And that might be the knockout punch.
Greetings, salutations. What's up, little baby? Look. Snakes need braces and retainers. Look. Them some of the raggediest looking fangs. I seen some bad ones, but bruh. So, anyways, all right, y'all. Like I said, if you want somebody to lambast this president and be a hater, I'm not that guy. I told y'all up front, just like AD Sykes, I may not have been here for the process, but if the results are the results, and you're gonna push that on me, it better work. It better work. So, what's up, little baby? So, real quick though, I'm gonna give y'all a little bit of the sports part. I'm gonna tell y'all where to get your sports this week. So, let me add that to the stage. Remove that person. Get to the right one. You know I'm passionate about it when I'm like, I don't have it ready. But it was up here. So it's the Advocate. So I'm wearing all these little chains today. I really got 4 on, but I got 3 of them. Look, good thing y'all can't see all different logos though, because these are your Mardi Gras beads. I ain't gonna hold y'all. I just have my Rubik's. So I had to kind of lean into the wokeness a little bit. I think this is what they think of when they're like woke. Like, so we're gonna be woke today. So for anybody that's uber conservative, this is woke. I hope you're scared. But before we get into that, support the Rattler Boosters. They don't support all this wokeness. They just support FAMU athletics. Also, if you want to talk sports, hear from the guy himself, the head Rattler. Shout out to Coach Colsey. Shout out to Tallahassee's local Babe Ruth baseball coach. He came on as well, but we had a great conversation with Coach Colsey. About a good 15, 20 minutes on round 1 with St. Clair. So if you are so inclined, 6 p.m., Hallelujah 95, tomorrow, James Colsey, excuse me, Dr. James Colsey is on the show with St. Clair Moraine and myself. So go check it out. What's up, Gail? So today is titled The Advocate. And it's that for a reason. Partially because I'm always going to advocate for FAMU. I love FAMU unapologetically. If it wasn't for FAMU, there would be no me. There's no FAMU, there'd be no child of mine. So, but today, I'm here to advocate for FAMU. But at the same point, we know what we got. Y'all know, y'all saw the press conference. Marvin Johnson went up there, and state of Florida's all of a sudden giving us $65 million And is coach a doctor or a doctor coach? Good question. It's like what them, y'all preachers be up there talking about Reverend Doctor or Dr. Reverend. I don't know. I be just messing with him, calling him Dr. Cozy because I know he got his PhD. So I just mess with him. And he be smiling like, yeah, I did, but you ain't got to say all that. Like, nah, bro, you work for them letters. You better, what? I promise you right now, any professional email I send says my name, Masters in Education Leadership on Larry. But today, this on Marvel. An advocate, according to m-w.com, that's Merriam-Webster for us old people. An advocate is a person who supports or promotes the interests of a cause or a group. So, in this case, first day, okay, somebody hadn't got on the job yet. We've already seen where Marvel went up there at a press conference and she's trying to win the PR competition. So, and I ain't gonna hold you. 65 M's? All right. Now I'm glad Dr. Beard did get some of that credit. But I will say, I keep telling y'all, I said it from when it started. Collusion is a crime. And Ron DeSantis only got 16 more months to be the governor. I promise you, y'all better have your ducks in a row. Because y'all done seen they didn't pass this big, beautiful bill and all that good stuff. How you feel about that? That's how you feel about that. But everybody don't like Ron DeSantis, even in the Republican Party. And I'll leave that there. I'm not going to get overly political. But we're going to be woke. So that y'all can share it with your friends who are scared of wokeness so they can see, like, it's not what you think it is. All woke means is I'm aware. We're paying attention. That's all it is. Sorry that they got you scared. What's up, cuz? Look, catch ONG Strike Zone. I stayed up. I ain't gonna hold y'all. I worked the tag last night. I stayed up till 3 a.m. watching ONG Strike Zone. Because it's a summer. I ain't had to get up and go to work. I did have to get up and do some stuff with my car. But we had to do that, man. So and when I say I mean 40 million, look, I'm just saying. Now you worked up for the letters. Look, I'm telling you. So, anywho's, we saw they had a whole press conference. And I'll say this for Marvel. You do need to practice your public speaking. Part of it, I know why you're nervous. I wish I had like Eddie Griffin queued up, like, you're a little nervous. You know the Negroes don't like you. Like, you know we don't like you, we don't want you. But you know what? You for FAMU, so we got to fight for you. Like, so don't take this personal, Marvel. I don't dislike you. I don't like the process. So that's, anything gets lost in this. So none of this is a critique of you. This is actually suggestions. Hopefully you use them. First and foremost, for context, FAMU asked for 55. They gave us 10 extra. That's a feather in the cap for two people. And she names her names. One of them's a noob. Yo. He's over at Conclave. I heard you, Brother Spencer. Yeah. Sewell, Sywell. But he recently came on too, not too long ago. But you started to see where the political connections do matter. For better or for worse. One of the things I think all of us that are woke are going to say is we see the game in this. We see the gamesmanship in this. The gamesmanship is if you're politically connected with certain people, you're going to get some benefits. We know this. And honestly, this is the tell and this was the play that we were given. Like, she's politically connected, so she's going to bring more money. And that's great. Because honestly, when you consider the amount of alumni that are already making that call, like, I ain't giving. You got to balance the budget somewhere, right? Because alumni giving is about to be off. And you gave more than the alumni are going to give. I ain't going to hold you on that. I think FSU being a part of that deal mattered too. Hey, you ain't wrong. Now I will say, didn't FAMU try to look at launching a new like portion of engineering too though under Dr. Beard? I believe that was something. I didn't have that in my notes, so you caught me on that one, little baby. I ain't gonna say folks will never get me, but you got me. But I think we saw part of the play there. Part of the play is also though, Brian Lamb openly said this, and he said this to Chair Harper and to Chair Gibbons. Harper and Gibbons. You're going to do everything in your power to make sure she's successful. And that means so are her constituents. So you know what? I ain't going to hold you. If y'all going to put her in this office, that shows somebody knows some black people. Because y'all already know, y'all did listen to us. The white man said that. I told my dad to stop saying pink Africans. I hate saying white man. But it is what it is. He even said the constituents don't trust y'all. Y'all got to find a way to rebuild trust. I'm gonna talk about that. But he also realized in saying that trust comes with dollars, and we don't trust you, we're not gonna pay for you. So you kind of see where that's going there. So the state of Florida is now stepping up financially to make this work, because they also understand in the next couple of months, especially after this situation today, they're expecting to lose some Senate seats. Like, let's call that what it is. Like, the long game is that before that 2026 stuff comes in, y'all done hurting. They're gambling. So that's the gamble. We already know what's probably gonna happen, but it is what it is. So again, for context, fam, you asked for 55, they gave you an extra 10, and the state board of governors stated, this is our friend, and y'all need to make sure she's successful. Point blank, period. Like, we can put that there, right? Again, just being an advocate. I'm gonna have Marvin's back in a minute. I got you. Now, the communications aspect and the special projects. Will part of Marvin's salary be used? Bomb. Look, if I had a drumstick ready. Because all of a sudden, if I give you an extra 10, one of that 10 can go. You only giving her 10%, right? I mean, heck, you get that much to the Lord, you can get that much to Marvin, right? That's like a backhanded comment. It really was. That hit me in a moment. I didn't think about that. Sorry. It wasn't personal. But when I saw that from Royal, I'm just saying. The foundation saying we ain't got the bread. You know what? Get them an extra 10 mil. We got this. And honestly, some of the stuff she said shows some growth. Like, I got to give you credit. I can't chastise you if I'm not going to praise you. The College of Law does need additional security. I ain't going to hold you. If it was me, I would work with either UCF, Valencia, or the city of Orlando. I know something I don't want to hear this. I'm not for merging the college, but I am for creating like a college district. I think that makes a lot of sense, because that business-wise, it frees you up on some of the stuff, because you could literally have UCF and Valencia police really, and OPD kind of service and canvas that area. And you just kind of pay into the pot. Like, you get one FAMU PD that's like top flight security, some Grady looking cuz, somebody uncle up there just sitting at the door, making sure don't nobody get in, plus like 2 more, and you solid. And you really just have OPD and UCF really canvassing the area. I'm just saying, at some point you got to start playing numbers. And to me, that makes business sense. Like, business sense, it doesn't make sense for you to have somebody all the way from Tallahassee stationed in Orlando, when you could just have the 2 colleges and the one college and 2 universities, whatever. Sorry, 2 universities share a police force. It makes sense. Like, I'm just saying. I know how some of y'all gonna be like, "Dang, you trying to merge stuff already?" I ain't trying to merge nothing. I want us to stay separate. But and look, majority of the funding goes towards engineering. Extra 10 went to the law school. So the main was good. Pretty much. What's up, Marvin? And at the end of the day, who wins? Because when their contract is up, who's going to be a tenured faculty member at the law school? It gets get gooder and gooder. Like, and you ain't got to buy no new house. The one you got here in West Orange County, because I ain't gonna say the city, because some of y'all really like, I'm really a nerd like that. But I ain't gonna do that. You ain't even got to pay for like a new house. You just go back to your old house. I'm just saying, man. Like that deal works solid. But even with that, you're setting yourself up that if you don't become a tenured professor, you become the dean of law school. Like, folks making money plays. Even Ron DeSantis making money plays. He's going to come out with a new accreditation board, getting all these groups. And it just so happens, as he's about to get out of office, this new accreditation board comes to life. That's crazy work. I ain't gonna lie to you. I don't hate the game. Just saying. But staying focused. I do like the Brooksville thing because, Beard was working with the school there. So you kind of get a kickback on that side. And it leans towards that agricultural component. And then look at that. For all that bamming on the table for faculty, you get some retention stuff. But the problem is, for all these data-driven districts, I didn't see here a lot of numbers. Like, I heard the $10 million that the state's giving us, and a thank you to Ron DeSantis. And I appreciate it. Look, I don't hate everything. Look, that's a lawsuit waiting to happen. That's criminal. I ain't gonna lie. That's hatred. Like, I couldn't call myself a Christian and set up something like that for other people. I'm sorry. That's just me. I don't believe in that kind of stuff. All right, so back to the subject, because I will get overly political, and I'm not doing that. For Marvel, first and foremost, this is for you, Marvel. So find people that the community trusts. You ain't got to come on Fangs Up. You ain't got to go to ONG Strike Zone. What I will say is this, though. Them 8 people that we all view as house Negroes, they ain't it. They have no credibility within the core of your alumni fan base. They may have their pockets and their corners for people who want to see change, and that's great. But they should be people pulling strings. They should not be in the forefront because, first and foremost, we don't trust them. When outsiders are telling you that they have to do things to rebuild trust, Gibbons don't need to be in front of all of us wagging his finger. I'm sorry, bro. Like, don't take it personal. And I don't not like you, but I don't trust you. And I mean that. And a lot of alumni don't trust you. And sitting here lecturing us to tell us that you're building back better and everything else, and a new day is coming and all this other stuff, and trying to really poop on people who actually had experience and were really solid presidents, bro, that ain't it. Like, the real move is find you somebody and have her get out in the community and work. Sorry. Like, she crossed them burning sands to get that Ivy, right? You did something. It wasn't free. Like, I remember the approach was, it's just information. It's just information to a point. At some point, you got to put in some work. And when it comes to putting in work, you got to find workers that people trust. Like, I ain't gonna lie to you. If I was Marva Johnson, I would reach out to Artisha Pope. I would reach out to Curtis Johnson. I'll reach out to William Human. I'll reach out to Chuck Lewis. Anybody that came on this show trying to run for NAA president or one of those offices, I would reach out to them. And I would say, hey, within the National Alumni Association, start at the top. What do you and your constituents need? What do you want? What are your concerns? Because you know some of the concerns. You know some people have the concern about losing this school, losing that school. That's great. But you got to get to the people. And the open door policy sounds great, but you got to measure that because everybody ain't going to be like me. Like, I ain't going to lie to y'all. This past week has been nuts. Somebody hit my car. State Farm really did me like wild. Like, I can't say nothing good about State Farm except for, I ain't gonna lie, the local State Farm in Tallahassee, Jarrell, he got a person there named Kathleen. Kathleen is amazing. She was fire. She is one of the 3 or 4 people that made what I went through at State Farm palatable. Like, I will tell you, my NAA president here in Orlando, fire. Like, because when I told him what happened, and bro, like, I'm really frustrated, XYZ, he listened. And he said, this is who's at fault. And I said, yeah, man, they were amazing up there. Kathleen, Jarrell, they were awesome. And I told him what my problem was. He told me what the solution was. That's what you need. You need to find people within the ranks that are going to tell you what the problems are and then turn around and tell you the solution. Because you could come at us with all this data and everything else. Data matters. But the emotions are equally as important. And one thing about especially FAMU people and Ron DeSantis, we don't trust them. Certain names, you got to learn. They may be cool in your circle, but honestly, we don't with them people. Like, we really don't. We don't trust Ron DeSantis. Like, that is a name I would not throw out in conversation a lot amongst your constituents. Now, in other areas, when you're at the Board of Governors, thank him, give him credit. But when you're in front of your people, we don't trust him for a reason. His academic curriculum that he's created when he has no experience in academia, less than you, is reprehensible. You have civics curriculum where we're teaching students that these people didn't own slaves. You know, they was actually against slavery. When we know good and well different. Like, find reputable people that we trust. You got a person like a Joe Bullard out there. I ain't saying that Joe Bullard is the guy to do this for you, but it darn sure ain't RB Holmes. Stop getting RB Holmes. Please stop pulling that card. Like, and there's no disrespect to Dr. Holmes. And I don't, y'all know Keith, I don't call nobody Reverend. So I don't, miss me on that, whatever. Reverence belongs to God. So that's just my personal quirk. I don't call nobody Reverend. I'll call you doctor. I'll call you all your credentials, but I don't reverence is God's. But when it comes to this, find people that the people trust and don't get them to just vouch for you. You can't get that because honestly, I'm going to tell y'all straight up. Somebody I trust vouched for Marva. And I was like, bro, I'm going to take your word for it. You a 10 toes down dude. You a real dude. You a real one. Like you a good dude. Your work speaks for yourself. Your work in private, public, in frat. I got nothing I can say. So off his words, I was okay. That was with me. You need somebody that can do that for you. And that can say your work says this. Not the people that we don't trust. It's got to be the students. How you have these open doors need to turn into some open pockets. Like, hey, you need the kids to come to you that are struggling, not the ones that are excelling. Those are the easy kids. This is what you do. And I don't even have this on my notes. Find your bottom 100 kids. Pull them in your office. Call them. Say, hey, you are at risk of academic probation, da 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 da. I'm gonna throw you a lifeline. I got a program for you. I got a way to save this. I can make this so that you finish FAMU on time, in time, and we're gonna find some money to make it happen. That's how you do that. That's how you get the students. That's again, episode's The Advocate. I'm for FAMU. You already know how I feel about this president's research. But if I'm for FAMU, I gotta be for the success of Marvel right now. Whatever happens after, don't matter. But I'm gonna give you some. I ain't gonna give you all of it, but I'm gonna give you enough to understand. This is how you win us over. You gotta fight for them kids. You gotta win the kids. Because what happens is, it's just like, and this is, if y'all don't know, I've worked in customer service my entire life. You know, from like working with my dad building cabinets, working at Publix. I remember Publix said there's a 3-person rule. You do one person wrong, they tell 3 people. Those 3 people tell 3 more people. And all of a sudden, you got a bad name out there. I just told y'all, I had a bad experience with State Farm, but I told y'all who I had a great experience with. Jarrell up there in Tallahassee, great. Kathleen in particular, amazing. Like, I'm just telling y'all, my NAA president for the chapter here in Orlando, when I called Patrick Gray, amazing. They made my State Farm thing solid. So instead of me coming up here yamming and oh yeah, like a da-da-da, no, they made it work. And I didn't get everything I wanted. But you know what? The people that was looking out for me looked out for me. Help the struggling students. Because what's going to happen is they tell their parents. And 9 times out of 10, the kid who's struggling has parents who's struggling or a situation that's tough. I'm telling y'all, not just from what somebody told me. I'm telling you, as that kid who left home because I got my girlfriend pregnant. I was mad with my pops. We ain't talked for a year. Came back home and we embraced, and the situation is amazing now. But when I was in school, it was weird. It was weird working like this job and, you know, hustling and finding different ways to eat. And you're like, I never went hungry. Good book says I'll never be begging for bread. But I was always provided for. Like, in some way, form, or fashion. And you have to take advantage of the lowest of us. You got to win those kids and those families. Because what they're going to do is they're going to go back out there. In the same way, I tell everybody that what made me come to FAMU was when the President Gaines. I never forget. I was working a gig. He said, welcome home. I wasn't even FAMU still. I said, I'm a TCC. I got accepted to FAM. When I told him my story, he's like, welcome home. In the story, it didn't matter. Nothing mattered. It was welcome home. And from there on, I was like, if I get accepted to FAMU again, I'm going. Like, first time, I was just like, I'll wait. And Mike said, don't we and the kids need to present some type of agenda for what we would like to see? However, while we are trying to see each other out. I agree. Look, that's what I said up front. Because I'll say this on her end, she says she's doing some stuff. I ain't saying she's not. I'm saying I haven't seen it. And that's not, again, that's saying I haven't seen it. That's not saying it's not happening. That's saying I haven't seen those things yet. I hope they're going to happen. But again, get the lowest of your students and bring them up. On the other side, do what your boys talk about with the faculty. But don't just do that with the faculty. Because it's one thing to give them more money. And look, thank you, Marvin. That's what I'm saying. But the other piece is for the faculty, decrease their workload. Like, we quick to, y'all was hollering lies about that financial aid line. Like, we all know it's not as bad as it used to be. That don't mean it's good. But You got to modernize the technology. You got to do stuff to catch up. And in some places, I said it once, I said it before. Go ask other schools what they're doing. And if you really got that kind of swag and got that kind of sway, go to the Florida Board of Governors and say, you know what? We should have a system that has all the financial aid stuff together. You could have one verification office and just do for all. Like, and so I'm not a fan of hearing except the least amount of Pell Grant recipients in the history considering we're about social mobility. But that's where the state's going. And I'm with you. And I will tell y'all, as somebody who never got that and could have, honestly, my last year of college, I could have got it. Only because I had a kid. But at the same point, we are moving away from that. We do know that the state is actively moving away from supporting low-income students. We've seen where the federal government is moving away from supporting an educated populace. Like that's just, that's just being honest. Are there actually still financial aid lines up there? Sometimes. And right around the building like it was. But there's a caveat to that. I will say this, and this is the former financial aid representative coming out in me. I know Keith worked in financial aid. A lot of y'all Negroes don't know what y'all doing with financial aid. Like, y'all don't understand. You're going to get verified. You got to submit these documents. And until you submit what you got to submit, you ain't getting paid, period. And that's not just Black people. That's white people, Latino people, and anybody that deals with financial aid. Need a slush fund to pay for financial aid money up front. The feds don't even start sending money to. Look, again, y'all seen this, and they've cut the amount of federal workers. Like, that's why I said first thing was the kids. Save your bottom 20. Like, your bottom 100, save them. Because the top 20, top 10 are, for the most part, are going to be good. If they got a situation, that's different. But if you can get those kids who are the ones who are most at risk of messing up your retention and getting that 4-year stuff, all of a sudden you kind of fix the problem. Like, I'm just saying, for too many, they don't do the paperwork right. I ain't gonna lie to you. When I used to work at Florida State, that used to be the worst part. Like, calling people back, like, you did this wrong, you did that wrong, you did this wrong, you did that wrong. Like, but you know what? Like I told y'all, I've said it before. One of the best things Florida State did with financial aid was attack it with numbers. We just had a bigger staff than FAMU, and we didn't get paid as much as they did. To be honest with you, like, I made a lot less at Florida State than people did at FAMU working in financial aid. I'm being real with y'all. Like, don't let them fool you that going across that track, everything's sweeter. Nah, you don't make no money over there either. Just being real. The other thing, you gotta bring us some data. Like, I'm sorry, I don't like these vague numbers. Like, we're doing this, we're doing that. That sounds great, but again, you're dealing with a populace and a people that don't trust you. And when you said 10 mil extra, when you said $65 million, oh, you had my attention right there. When you said that, hey, we're going to put some of this towards the law school, we're going to put this towards some of the farm in Brooksville. I love that. Don't forget about the farm in Gaston County, though. I'm just saying, like, you need people in your corner that are going to hype you on that. Like, not the ones just going to kiss your tail. That's part of the problem we got with some of the administration in other places. We got butt kissers and not difference makers. Like, it's all good as long as you kiss their butt. Nah, you need some people to tell you the hard truth. Sometimes I call Mike Road Dogg. He be honest. He always honest. But sometimes it's like, dang, I didn't even think about it like that. It's like, man, we small time. We small time. I'm like, dang. Like, and it's one of the works at a college The bulk of financial aid and registration issues no longer lie solely with the schools. It's mostly students along with the helicopter. Yep. The worst, I ain't gonna lie, the worst enemy of a good financial aid process is a parent that doesn't know what they're doing and can't leave a FAFSA alone because they just keep messing up. And the more you mess with it, the more you get selected for verification, because it's kind of like somebody that just keeps, tasting the food and adding seasoning to it. Like, why do you keep tasting the food? Is it not right? Like, what are you doing that's wrong? You start getting selected for verification. And then you start changing this. Well, I don't like this number. And then what happens is you send that verification information in, and then the school changes it back because that's what your tax documents say. So it's a thing though. But again, for Marva, keep bringing data. Other one, increase enrollment. Period. You got to, if you're going to make a 5-year stint at FAMU, we need 5,000 students. That's really callous to say it like that. But in order to get the pay funds you want and justify it and get the numbers that you're going to need coming through, you have to increase the enrollment by about 4,000 to 5,000, because you cannot get the 4th or 5th highest salary as a state university president at the 2nd to smallest state university. It doesn't make sense. I'm sorry. And that's not hatred. I'm not mad at it. I don't look, I'm with y'all with Bobby Bonilla. I celebrate Bobby Bonilla Day every year because he gaming the system. But when it comes to FAMU, you cannot be the 6th highest paying or 3rd, 4th highest paid college president when out of what, 13, 14 universities, not 30, don't drop that 30 number. Your enrollment's like 12. Like, and out of all the SUS schools that play Division I football, you're the smallest. Like, let that marinate in your spirit for a second. UNF is bigger than FAMU, and they don't have football, period. West Florida is like, I think they surpassed us, and they're playing Division II. Like, I believe Ghost Coast is smaller, but you start talking UCF's largest school in the nation, 70,000. Across the street, Florida State, 46 to 53,000. UF, the state flagship, 50,000+. FIU pushing 30,000. FAU 30, 40,000. You start going through these numbers and we start talking about what you're getting paid. Baby, you got to bring some people to the party, because this is not sustainable. And that's not disrespect. But again, we're going to be real with you. We're going to keep it all the way funky with you. Again, I'm advocating for you and FAMU today. You got to increase this enrollment numbers. Again, ain't nothing I said on here was hatred. If you take it like that, that's how you take it. Don't be SAWFT. We're going to be real with you, though. One thing, I'll be honest with you. And if I see you in person, I'm going to tell you the truth. I respect you too much to tell you a lie. Yeah, I know my line. If I'm lying to you, I don't respect you enough to tell you the truth. I might overestimate something and be like, hey, something like $30 and I need 50. That's a bad math. I suck at math. Like, I just like to have a little extra. Just make sure we good, because the taxes and fees and stuff kick in. But when it comes to something that's just concrete, you got to increase the enrollment. Period. You can't be the 3rd, 4th highest paid president at the next to smallest university. If FAMU becomes the smallest university, and the only reason you won't is because New College is New College and Florida Poly is Florida Poly. Those are the only schools you're bigger than. The State Honors College and the State Tech School that broke off from South Florida. Like, say it for the people in the front and back, Mike. More housing. The housing that Larry got, you need to finish that. Like, you got some of that. Let's be real. It's not turnkey. You need to tear it down and build some dorm towers. Like, just saying. And you got to find a way. Look, Mike, you already where I'm at. Now, you already know they saying they rushing for R1 status. Everybody trying to do that. You lost some good professors, though. I saw a professor I had, I ain't gonna say no names, that I respect, that he helped me get through school. He went to another college. He's not the only one. I'd expect more. The other thing, you got to raise funds. And that 10 mil, I think that was, I appreciate it. I ain't gonna look a horse called gift in the mouth. But I will say this. You better you got to bring more money in Larry Robinson. And that's tough. Like, Larry brought in dollars. Y'all may feel like he didn't care about football. He cared. It just wasn't his thing to like be on it like that. But Larry cared about sports. You got to raise some money. And I'm gonna tell you, the easiest way for you to raise money and really like get some like really good press about it. Y'all don't know Marva's one a lobbyist, but she's also been like a CEO at Spectrum, right? FAMU's in this conference called the SWAC, right? They have a trash television deal. Not horrible, but it's pretty much cheeks. I was trying not to cuss. Help the SWAC get a media deal that pays its member schools a nice chunk of change. Does that fix everything? No. But what does that do? Hold on for a minute. I got you. Here's the mic. I'll let the boomstick in the bag. One, it shows that your experience and your relations and your connections and how they matter. And it shows that they benefited more than just FAMU, but the entire SWAC. We don't really care about the rest of the SWAC like that. We rock with Cookman because them my cousins. But when you start talking that dollar sign, and especially when it's like, oh, she helped everybody, all of a sudden that changed the game because it goes from being like, dang, yeah, she got, Ron DeSantis gave us $10 million. It's kind of hush money. But, Marva going to be gone. And we still going to be making some M's off of this. Like, she did some things. It changes the conversation. It changes the narrative. You change the trajectory of not just FAMU, but other HBCUs. That's huge. Why do you put that 10,000 student cap? Graduation. Believe they threw, what's that, Castell or Mangum? Go back and watch that last Board of Governors meeting where Marva had her first kind of thing. Oh, they threw, it was one of, I believe it was Castell that they threw under the bus. And they were like, she was horrible and she was terrible. The kids weren't graduating. I was like, told y'all we ain't want that lady. But I'll stop. But again, you got to find a way to raise funds, not in perpetuity. That's not reality. Like, nobody's that good. But that outlasts your tenure at FAMU. Like, you have to find your way to get in with these major donors, especially the conservative ones. Like, I'm sorry. Like, if Florida's going to have a conservative takeover and it's going to become a conservative think tank, you don't think FAMU's in a tough place. But you got to find a way to protect FAMU and make some money and get those dollars. Because as much as DEI has become a hot button thing, and I think, boy, they know how to make a good devil, don't they? You got to be able to use that to your benefit, right? Like, when we're at a time where we're seeing a big drop in certain places that have a lot of African Americans. You can't become that place again where the people come to recruit, where the FBI goes to recruit, because at a certain place we know we see the game, we see that piece of the game, but at the Florida level, what's going to be the play? Like, it was a stop the growth of the university. NCAT has the same restrictions. They just pay a fine every year and exceed the cap. They pretty much do. Like, whoever their president is, they playing a different game. And they're getting some quality kids. I know a couple of them. I'll say this. The biggest thing that I would give to Marvel, again, keep being out there. Keep being outside. But when you outside, keep being nice. Because I got to give her this. For everything folks have said about her, me including, she wore it on the chin. If you out there on campus, and I wouldn't just be out there walking across campus right now. If you got top flight security with you, you need to have a long leash. Because it's real easy for over policing to take place. And over policing looks different when it's done to black people. I'll let you receive that how you receive that, right? But if we're being real, and y'all know we like to be real about this. When you talking about extra security for this, extra security for that, extra security for this and the third, it only takes one good time for you to over police some black people at a black college with what's going on lately, for you to be shown the door. Because just as easy as you forget who called you to step up and fill in that role, will be just as quickly as they turn against you and say you weren't the right fit, that the radical this was doing this and this, that, and the third, but because of that, you're being replaced. And they'll throw you under the bus. I'll say that. Unfortunately, we couldn't adequately service the mega thousands of profile admits that we were accepting for financial aid money. Yep, this is true. We're taking too many kids that couldn't graduate. That's a lot of it. You give me 900,000. It's good. Could talk to me about however you want. I'm just saying. You give me $1 million. I got $5 million. I'm getting $5 million. We're good. Like, y'all realize, like, we about to pay probably about $1 million a year, right? At least 5 years. Then after that, she's going to be the highest paid professor at the law school. He's probably talking like another 300-400. Marvin Johnson walked into like a $7 to $10 million deal from the state of Florida. That's nasty work. I told y'all, I'm not a hater. I'm just woke. I see it. Like, that's what it means to be woke. I see it. I see the play. And I don't see everything about it, but again, like I told y'all, I see what Ron DeSantis is doing. 6 months he's out of office. All of a sudden, he gets that new accreditation board going. He becomes one of the leaders, if not sits on the board of the new accreditation board in a paid position. Come on, man. Because he already know he ain't going to win a presidential election. Like Marvin said, the board makes the final decision. The board does. But we've seen where both board of trustees and board of governors, they are determined. Even with some dissenters. Because y'all saw in that board of governors, everybody ain't on board. And I'll say it like this. As we see going forward, it's going to be very interesting. I would say As I told y'all before, for the football games, save your hair. You're gonna sweat it out anyway. Put a video of Humphries up there. Let him be looking up and say strike, strike, strike again, and let the football team come out there, win, ride off into the sunset. Yeah, I would be ghost all football season. I'd be there. I wouldn't be out there in front of nobody though. I'll let now. I will tell you who's happy. I would throw out there for the what? Act like Pontius Pilate. Chair Gibbons. I throw his behind out there every time. Wanting to speak. Boo! Y'all already know that dude got to get booed. Like, I'm just asking this, y'all rattlers. Be nice. I have to be. I'm being sidelined. I can't be. I gotta act decorum. But y'all understand? Especially homecoming. Boy, I wouldn't even come out there. I wouldn't leave the day party. And I wouldn't go to that day party either. I'd go somewhere, be out there chilling, anywhere but brag. And honestly, if I'm any of those 8, the only FAMU event I might go to might be a basketball game away. Like, don't go to no home events. You already know you're getting booed. And honestly, I will give them this credit. I love that you're gambling on yourselves. And I wanted to pay off. I wanted to work. And I'm not saying that as one of them people like I want you to swing first so I can hit you back. I'm saying in the genuine and general interest of FAMU, I want your aspirations and your goals of changing stuff in a non-traditional route to work. Despite the fact that we've seen, whether it's national politics, local politics, or most businesses, that the non-traditional route doesn't normally work. There is normally a time of pain. You've given her 5 years to FAFO. And by year 3, she might get it. But will your constituents be there to support it? Look, I agree. We need to send her to the board with some concrete demands that say that they shouldn't say no to, or at least not without some good reasons. I agree. And I feel like if she really wants to be a success, you got to listen to the right people. And I'm not saying I'm the right one all the time. But what I'm saying is them 8, they showing you they don't give a damn. They could give 2 poops about what the people think. And that's dangerous because when I swear I'm right, I know I'm right. And you can't tell me I'm wrong. And whether I tell you it's going wrong or not, you're still going to do what you think is right. And we have seen that. And the detrimental part of that is they're not going to see when something goes wrong until the numbers and the data hit. And they're going to pull this BS that we hear from other people. I didn't know this was going to happen. I didn't see this happen. This isn't what I voted for. This isn't what I like. This is what I selected. I can't believe they're doing this. And us, especially the melanated people, are going to be like crocodile tears. Like, them boys, let them know. Like, it's going to be an interesting thing. Like I told y'all before, I want her to win. I do. And it's not a like of her. Not because her husband is frat or chapter. But it's because just like my boy from Drumline, I'm like, y'all, I'm fighting for A&M. I don't relish in her failure. I feel like the board of governors is going to do everything in their power to make it a success. I feel like this current administration is going to do everything in their power to make this a success. How long does that last? We've seen a lot of times they pat on the back. Sometimes he's looking for a soft spot. We're gonna see. So, but hey y'all, we're gonna get back to sports later this week. Well, on Sunday. That's next week. So I don't want her to win, but I don't want us to lose. So here we are. I'm with you. I don't see how they both can succeed at the same time. I think outside of some type of scandal, some foolishness or something of the sort, it's tough for her to lose and Family to win. Now, I will say what we've seen in the past 2 years reminds us that elections are important. Any one of your cousins that don't vote and tell you elections don't matter, yeah, tell them people they need to wise up. So, we're gonna see though, man. I'm definitely I'm like y'all. I'm thankful for the money though. I'm thankful for the money. I'm a quote Bomani Jones, and it's not my quote, and it's not necessary that he learned it or knew it, but I got it from him. All money ain't good money. Sometimes you got to accept a little bit less to get further ahead. So, but we're gonna see, man. They better give her every tool to make her look good. They will. It should not be nan dissent. Nah. The board of trustees is. Oh, okay. Let me get my sweet tea. Y'all know they got orders, right? Like when your girl with the I don't know that lady name, and I told them to be calling people out their names. The lady who had the part, when she was sitting there looking at her phone and looking scared, somebody told her, "You have your orders. You better figure it out." I'll leave that there. But whatever she asked for, she's going to get until it pushes too far to the left. The second, I'm gonna leave y'all with this. The second she gets a little too woke, she will become an enemy. Because what's going to happen is you cannot go to and work to a place like Florida A&M University and see everything that happens for FAMU and then see everything that happens for everybody else and start not asking the question that all us ask. I've seen what you've done for others. What can you do for me? And then the question becomes, why aren't you doing it for me? And then it goes to, how can I get you to do it for me? And that's going to be the problem. Because when they refuse to do it for her, the way that they do it for others, and she starts bamming on that table a little too hard, she becomes a problem. You see it, not see it. Again, that's woke. That's the if that's what you're afraid of, that's what you're afraid of. The wokeness is the honesty. That's it. It's nothing more. It's an honest perspective of the things that are happening around you and the willingness to understand that things may not go in the way that you want them to, but the also additional understanding in this society, you and your supporters and those around you can influence change that is meaningful, poignant, and purposeful. So we shall see. I've hit y'all with too many big words. I love big words. But all this just because they told you don't means it's true goes against the window. Hey, I'm telling you, they wouldn't try to change the history books if it wasn't hurtful. All right, y'all. And in the words of Marvin, happy 4th of July, my second favorite holiday. I will be here at the crib. So shout out to all the family. Man, they having a hellish shindig up there in Tallahassee, fireworks and everything else. I'm just telling you. I'm Tyler Perry too much. Hey, man. I'd rather tell you the truth than tell you a lie. Truth don't care who tell it. All right, y'all. For everybody at HBCU Digital Network, we'll catch y'all Sunday. We're going to talk about recruiting, football, and basketball, too. There's a bunch of offers went out, man. So, y'all already know what's up and what it's always going to be. Thanks, so.
Yeah, baby, you know what time it is. Now let's get it started.
Are you kidding me? Unreal.
While our HBCUs are mostly known for academic rigor, community, they also know how to turn up.
Does he have it?